My name is Christian Atkins, and as a professional sponsored mountain biker, I will be discussing the feasibility of preparing enduro mountain bike racers for race day. You may have heard of downhill or cross-country mountain biking, but have you heard of enduro? Probably not. That is because it is a new discipline of mountain biking that has taken shape over the past 5 years. It is debatably the largest discipline of mountain biking today and requires many abilities, including all-day endurance and technical riding. Here's how it works. Racers start at the base of a mountain and pedal transfer up to the top. Once the mountain has been summited, racers line up single file and are sent every minute to race down a specific trail, which is when their race time starts. Once each rider passes a checkpoint at the bottom of the trail, their time stops. This is known as a stage. Racers complete this process of climbing up the trail and down the trail many times a day, and each time is a different trail. Remember, the racers only get timed on the downhill portion of the trail, but they still must meet a transition time in order not to be disqualified. The total time on the day can be anywhere from 3 to 7 hours, with an actual race time ranging from 25 minutes to an hour. Racers will complete anywhere from 4 to 7 stages in a day, which usually includes 2,000 to 6,000 vertical feet of climbing. That's a lot. There are many factors to consider when completing an enduro race, including nutrition, aid stations, and a dependency on the enduro organization to meet the demands of the racers. The first criteria I will address in my feasibility paper is in regards to the nutritional preparation of an enduro racer. Nutrition is arguably the most important aspect of preparation on race day, besides hydration. Considering racers must be maintaining an aerobic or anaerobic intensity for several hours, carbohydrates are going to be in high demand within the body. Research suggests in activities more than 90 minutes, 90 grams of carbs need to be consumed every hour. That is equivalent to 5 apples or 3 bananas. Considering most people don't have the room to carry 25 apples or 15 bananas over a 5-hour race, there seems to be a dilemma of food storage in relation to how demanding the sport can be. This is where food and water aid stations come into play. Most enduro organizations recognize the demand for aid stations and do implement them into the race. However, in my own experience and in the experience of many other professional racers, these aid stations are not sufficient. Most of the time there exists only one aid station for the whole race, and oftentimes by the time half or 3/4 of the racers have encountered it, all of the supply is gone. This poses a huge issue for the professionals who tend to run last in the race order, and they are forced to rely solely on their own store of water and food. Oftentimes, top-of-the-line professionals are forced to forfeit the race because regardless of how fit and capable they are, no human body can endure 5 hours on meager amounts of food in those conditions. In fact, after about 90 minutes of exercise in the aerobic zone, it leads to something called bonking. Bonking occurs when the body has run out of glucose stored in the blood and muscles, and it feels pretty apparent to experience it. Known as hitting the wall, someone who is bonked feels completely out of energy, and the body begs for you to stop. An aerobic heart rate cannot be maintained any longer, and blood pressure starts to drop. Continuing on at this point is next to impossible. Having personally experienced this and having to leave a friend stranded on the trail due to bonking, it is a very serious danger. So how can we fix this? My proposal includes a multitude of changes to combat this issue. First, increasing the racer fees by only $10 would more than triple the amount of food and water available to racers, a small change for drastic results. In addition, enduro organizations need to educate their racers on what they are getting themselves into, especially for those who have never done it. This can be accomplished by including a page on their website outlining the research and my method of analysis section of my feasibility report. If this still does not amply educate the racers, then a short announcement in the mandatory riders meeting at the races is a last resort. For a system that currently has no safety cautions in place, any form of publicity on the matter would drastically decrease the chances of new racers experiencing the dreaded bonk. Enduro has waited long enough for these changes, and I am confident the public will thrive with these simple adjustments.